I need tips on how to graft white sapote successfully. I'm like 2 out of every 10.
This one right here, a smaller whipping tongue to a bigger branch.
Ah, okay.
That's how I've kind of adapted a whipping tongue on
I
that.
like that. And do you wrap the whole Scion?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I would wrap the whole thing with parafilm or buddy tape.
That's what Jack just told me to do.
Yeah.
Inside.
So you
Yeah.
prefer a tip for the avocado?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even though I'll probably cut off most of this because it's all blooms. I mean, I could leave it on.
All right, but you still
And it'll
prefer
bloom.
But you do prefer the tip.
You just, yeah,
All right.
yeah. This is
So
kind of a
you'll
crooked section.
take the blooms off and leave everything else?
I'll leave the blooms on for right now. Well, I'll get it on there first. Once I get it on there, I'll see what, because you don't need all of those, you know.
Right.
Now this is one part that's really good. It doesn't show really good on this one, but between years growth, you get what it's called like a whirl of advantageous buds. They're not really showing good here, but on some sign wood, and you could pick that up, and these buds, see, they're there ready to pop. And Jack actually, he likes that. If
Okay.
that sign wood's got that on it,
All right.
he's good to go, you know, along with these two, because he knows if these don't go, these guys down here in that whirl are gonna go. So, but I have to cut most of that off, get some kind of decent graft on here. Now another thing I use on avocado, since I'm on avocados, is this is the best thing I trick for avocados, is a Schick single blade knife on a X-Acto holder.
Okay.
David, how you doing? Hey, Don.
Thank you, Robert.
You got it? All right.
It's wonderful.
It hasn't been acclimated outside really.
so I should keep it inside for a while.
Well, just kind of keep it in maybe morning sun and, you know, and shade in the afternoon
Great.
for a while.
It's a treasure. Thank you.
Come on in. We'll go around.
And I like this on the juicier kind of, you know, newer wood on the avocado, because it's so soft. It's hard unless you got a super sharp knife. Sometimes when it's kind of like cottony on the inside on avocado wood when it's young, and it's really hard to cut right without a super sharp knife. And with this thing, there's no problem. Okay, that should work. Now I put the tongue in this guy. And I just come about a quarter of the cut. I come a quarter down from the tip and start the tongue, and then you just got to be real careful that you're going parallel with your Scion. And then the same here. And then you slide these guys together. That's it right there.
That's a pretty nice cut. Your shirt is providing a really good background here too, Robert.
Like that shirt.
And that's why this is why I like the whip and tongue. I mean, you could do the same thing with the cleft grab, but if I'm doing this out in the orchard on a tree, you know, I want to be able to stick my sign and then come back and get whatever I'm going to wrap to, you know, and unless the wind's really blowing hard, it's going to be there when you come back to wrap it. So this is what they call buddy tape. I've also used parafilm, but I prefer buddy tape for the avocados. It just seems to, I think it breathes a little bit better than the parafilm does. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't need all of these buds. So these are so blown and grown up here, you know, they're ready to open and flower. I would cut those off.
So they call it the whip and tongue. I think I understand the tongue part. What is the whip referring to?
Well, the whip is actually the long slanted cut.
Okay.
The tongue is the parallel cut going back in.
Gotcha.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna put anything on the tip of that, or
Yeah,
no?
this.
You will.
Yeah. I just go, see, this is actually, I trim these off, the petiole off, right with the bud. You want it to kind of protect the bud, but you want it to, you don't want it sticking out so far. And then what I like to do when I have left over, and I just do this, and then I wrap it back around. So then later on, when I'm checking the grafting, it's going. If I want to, this stuff will disintegrate, but sometimes it stays on for more than a year. Kind of starts looking ugly, gets
Do you
black,
have
and
better luck any particular time of year doing this with avocado?
up to now.
Up to now.
Up to the end of February
Okay.
is the best time for avocados we've found here on the Central Coast. I mean, you can do stuff like this if you have a greenhouse
I do, yeah.
later on in the year.
Oh.
Any, you know, I've done them as late as October because it doesn't matter in the greenhouse. You know, you got a whole different environment. And then I use rubber bands to wrap all of my
You do.
avocado grafts because the rubber bands go away, and you know, this is a little bit too big a rubber for this graft, but that's what I got. So.
Also, you're saying that birds land on them and knock them off sometimes. Huh?
Right. Well, this is just an extra tie to help in case a bird lands on it. You know, once you come back, you know, in the morning and find your sign on the ground, and then I mark, you know, just write the name. But then this guy, 3 or 4 months, it'll fall off on its own. You don't even have to take it off.
Where'd you buy the rubber band?
You just check online.
Okay.
I got them at A.M. Liner for a while, but then they got so expensive. I got them from some weird Aggie place in Texas, I think it was the cheapest I found them this year. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you, Robert.
So that's the whipping
Oh, no.
tongue.